So here's something shocking that most people either overlooked or avoid discussing. What if Meghan Markle never delivered her children at all? No, seriously, we're not discussing vague. Online gossip here. Her own father publicly stated that Meghan froze her eggs years ago, and her brother allegedly claimed she had a hysterectomy afterward. And get this, it supposedly occurred while she was still wed to Trevor Engelson, long before Prince Harry entered the scene. That alone turns the entire narrative of their fairy tale family upside down. The deeper you explore, the more troubling it becomes. It's not just about her preserving eggs. The real problem is that it appears she couldn't afford to maintain them stored long term. Reportedly, the expense of keeping them frozen costs anywhere between $8,000 to $9,000 a month.
And she's changed. She's not the daughter I knew. My daughter was a much more giving, loving person than she is now.
And if the rumors hold truth, Meghan didn't have that sort of cash, then we're talking about someone who, according to sources, earned roughly $7,000 per episode on Suits. And that's when she even appeared, which wasn't very frequently across 108 episodes. Her total screen time amounts to about 138 minutes. That's practically blink and you miss it territory. So now picture this. She loses access to the frozen eggs because she couldn't cover the storage, undergoes a hysterectomy, and still appears years later with 2 kids that are supposedly hers. You see why people start questioning, right? And it's not just conjecture. People have been dissecting her entire motherhood story like a detective cracking a cold case. There's barely any authentic footage or photos of her being openly affectionate with the kids. You know, the typical mom stuff, hugs, kisses. Messy moments instead. The children seem stiff in every public appearance, like props in a choreographed scene. There's even talk that the little girl spotted one day at Disneyland isn't the same one seen the next day in a different outfit. Are we actually seeing different kids used in various appearances? And that moon bump clip bro Meghan walking around with? What many claim is an obviously artificial pregnancy belly during the pandemic in a hospital, no less, at a time when strict CO rules were fully enforced. That's not just eyebrowers that's potentially unlawful. Hospital policies were incredibly strict then, especially for maternity wards. You couldn't just stroll in, let alone bring camera crews and pose for content. Now, place all that beside how she behaves in interviews or public appearances. She always seems so detached when her kids are mentioned, like there's no genuine maternal warmth. Her responses are flat, sometimes even oddly theatrical. It's like she's acting the role of a mother without any real bond, and people notice. It's not even malice, it's observation. Something just feels off. Even her dad noticed. That's what's wild. This isn't a random online troll spreading rumors. It's her dad providing evidence. He said she had her eggs removed and frozen, period. Then her brother supported it, adding that she had a hysterectomy afterward. That's not casual chatter. That's a straight-up revelation, if true, because it completely destroys the narrative of her biological motherhood. And what's worse, nobody in the mainstream media is asking the questions. They just ignore it like it never happened. So you have to wonder, if Meghan really couldn't have kids, then where did Archie and Lilibet come from? Why does it feel like the palace, the press, and even the public are all sidestepping the biggest unanswered question in the royal saga? What really confuses people is how Meghan and Harry portray this perfect parent image while avoiding any real openness. Every time those kids are mentioned, it's either overly polished or oddly vague. No real birth photos, no candid moments, just curated images that feel more like brand content than family snapshots. And then you've got this strange detail: no hospital confirmations, no medical professionals stepping forward, not even a blurry paparazzi shot of Meghan actually pregnant in a candid moment for a couple constantly in the spotlight. That's nearly impossible. Let's not forget the moon bump theories. There's footage circulating where Meghan's belly literally shifts and folds unnaturally as she squats down, like not just awkward angle weird, but props department error weird. People zoomed in, slowed it down, analyzed it frame by frame, and what they found doesn't suggest baby bump. It suggests foam padding. It's one thing If she used a surrogate and didn't want to admit it, but if there's actual deception involved, it changes. The game, it's not just about privacy. Anymore, it becomes a question of authenticity and public trust. Then there's the issue of the kids' birth certificates. At one point, it was reported that Meghan had her royal title removed from the document and later reinstated. That's not standard procedure, and in the US, royal titles aren't supposed to be used as legal names yet. Somehow, Archie and Lilibet's paperwork slipped through with titles attached, according to sources. Even immigration officials were puzzled and supposedly contacted King Charles for clarity. That's not a thing that happens unless something seriously questionable is going on. Harry, on the other hand, is no innocent bystander. He's playing along just fine, smiling for the camera, riding the wave, and even demanding HR titles for the kids that stirred up a whole storm behind the scenes. The Queen reportedly had made it clear before her passing, no HR titles for those stepping away from royal duties. But here comes Harry trying to push it through anyway, and according to multiple sources, Charles caved, the man who was supposed to clean up the monarchy's image, handed over those titles. It's like party favors. But let's rewind for a second. Why would Meghan go through all this trouble in the first place? Some say it's for brand value, others say it's to secure her place in history. But one theory stands out. She believed having royal children would lock her into the monarchy forever, not in name, but in influence. To kids born into the firm with HR titles, that's leverage. That's long-term PR power. Whether she gave birth or not becomes almost irrelevant if the public believes the narrative, and yet cracks keep showing. Meghan's behavior toward the children is consistently off. In one video, she awkwardly holds one child like she's never held a toddler in her life. No eye contact, no soothing gestures, just stiff posturing. And the kids, they look like they're being managed by assistants. There's always a handler nearby. Always a sense of this is for the camera. People aren't stupid. They notice the inconsistencies, the weird body language, the lack of real emotion, and the question that keeps echoing louder is this: if these kids aren't biologically hers, and if the palace knows that, then why is everyone pretending everything is normal? Is it out of fear, shame, or something deeper that we're not even close to understanding yet? Meghan's defenders always jump in with the same tired argument. She's just private, but there's a difference between privacy and when it starts to look like you faked an entire pregnancy, hired stand-in children, and manipulated your way into royal recognition. It stops being about personal boundaries. It becomes about public deception, especially when you're still using royal titles, still appearing on the official monarchy website, and still cashing in on the Duchess brand every chance you get. Then there's the timing of everything. The video of Meghan twerking went viral right around the same time. Fresh questions started popping up about the kids, almost like a distraction tactic. Make noise, stir up controversy, and shift attention away from what people are really asking: who exactly are these children? If she's truly their mother, then why the need for all this misdirection? Why not clear it up once and for all? Instead, it feels like the plan is to keep throwing out new headlines, new narratives, and new outrage bait, anything to avoid the core question. But what Meghan seems to be missing is that this kind of attention doesn't build legacy, it burns it. The Kardashian comparisons she clearly loves, they don't work here. Kim and Paris weren't claiming royal legitimacy. They weren't putting children at the center of a public relations power play. Meghan is, and now more than ever, people are looking at Harry, because at the end of the day, this isn't just Meghan's charade. Harry's neck deep in it too. He's not some poor fool who got duped. He's actively helping shape the story, a man who once claimed he hated the press now seems obsessed with maintaining their image. He's calling the paparazzi when it suits him, launching lawsuits. When it doesn't, it's hypocrisy at full volume. The royal family, meanwhile, stays silent. No statement, no pushback, just a quiet, uncomfortable tolerance. But silence isn't neutrality, it's complicity, especially when the monarchy's public image is being dragged through the mud by two people who walked away from the job, but not the perks. Meghan still signs her name with Duchess of Sussex. Harry still demands royal treatment on international tours, and the palace still hosts their bios on the official royal website. There's no accountability, no line being drawn, and every time Meghan posts a carefully staged photo with one of those kids, every time Harry makes some speech about protecting his family, it's another slap in the face to anyone who values truth, because it's not about them anymore, it's about the institution they represent and the trust they've hijacked. The public might never get proof of what really happened. No clinic will come forward. No employee will leak records, but the truth has a strange way of surfacing. And the more Meghan and Harry try to act normal, well, everything around them screams abnormal. The more the cracks show, people are connecting dots, they're comparing dates. They're watching body language, analyzing photos, noticing when the same child looks oddly different within days at some point. Even the most loyal fans will stop defending the illusion can't hold forever. And when it finally breaks, when the press stops shielding them and the palace can't look away anymore, what happens next could be far more explosive than anything we've seen yet, because this isn't just a couple bending the truth. This could be one of the biggest image con jobs in royal history, and everyone from the top down might have helped make it possible.